Hello everyone. So let's talk about the gear that I used on my Hawaii trip. Now this was a big trip. We had my sister-in-law, my nephew, obviously wife and son, and myself. And we were all in Hawaii for 8 days. And like I said before, was a family vacation, not a photo trip. But I was able to get some photography in. You saw the video of me getting up in the morning with my nephew and us heading out to chase a sunrise. So what did I use? What did I bring? All that good stuff. So for the camera, I brought the Sony A7CR with the 17 to 50 f4 lens. And because it has 61 megapixels, I was able to crop in when I needed to get a little extra reach. So that was really, really nice. Just to have one camera to just walk around with. And it really changed my mind on how I can travel and, bringing cameras and all that kind of stuff. Now, it wasn't my only camera, obviously. I had the Ricoh GR IIIx, which I used quite a bit. I think I took like 200 to my pictures with that one. I believe I took like 700 pictures with the A7CR. And then I obviously had my phones. Now, my iPhone, I took over 700 pictures with, which is insane to think, but there were times where I wasn't able to bring my Sony camera. So when we were out on a boat and we did some snorkeling, I was using my phone to take pictures, from the boat. And I didn't want to bring it on the big camera on the boat. We did have dry bags and all that stuff, but I found my phone was perfectly fine for that. And then when we were in the water, I used the Osmo Action 5 to shoot pictures and video. And also I shot all the video pretty much was with the Action 5. I did supplement it with phone video from my iPhone and my S22 Ultra. This was like just a really good set of tools to bring to capture these images. Now, I did bring a couple other things. I brought the Sigma 90mm lens, which I used a handful of times, mainly to take pictures of chickens. Because one thing Kauai is known for is their abundance of chickens. I think they have more chickens than humans because they have no natural predators. The chickens just live there and thrive, and they don't really mess up the ecosystem, so no one really messes with them. So I was taking a bunch of portraits of chickens, and that's what the 90mm lens was used for primarily. Like I didn't take it out any other time other than to take pictures of chickens. Now I did kind of cheat and I brought the A6700 as a backup camera only. Never used it, never turned it on, never put a lens on it. It was literally just there in case my A7CR fell in the water, got lost, something happened to it, didn't turn on. I have a backup camera. And I wasn't going to do it that way at first. I thought I was just gonna, use both like I normally do, put the 90mm on the A6700 and then use the A7CR as like the run and gun camera. But I watched a video literally right before we left by Hannah Young, great YouTuber, by the way. And she went to the Dolomites in Italy with one camera and one lens. And she has the A7C2. And I thought, if she's going to this amazing location with one camera, one lens, and she used her phone, also her iPhone, as a backup camera, I'm like, why can't I do that? And that's what I did. And, here's the reality. It worked out really, really well. The iPhone pictures have gotten a lot better. They are still over sharpened, so I did bring all these pictures into Lightroom and lowered the clarity on them, the iPhone pictures. But they worked out really, really well. And I know it's a phone and small sensor and computational photography and all that stuff. Yes, true. But at the same time, I was able to take a picture of like a waterfall and get a long exposure image just by using the live capture image, using the live Apple Photos live photos or whatever it's called. But you can do like a long exposure image in there. And so I was able to get a pseudo long exposure image right from my phone. Yes, I had to hold my phone pretty steady, but that worked out well. Um, being able to take a bunch of pictures and like send them to friends and family worked out great. And not having a laptop actually worked out a lot better than I thought. I did have my iPad Air or iPad Pro, the M2 version, 11-inch M2. And I'm going to do a whole video on using this as a photographer. Again, it's an iPad running iPad 18, so it's not the newest one, and I think that would have been made a difference. But I did connect it to a Bluetooth keyboard, not this one. The one of the Airbnbs we stayed at actually had a Mac with a Bluetooth, like a Apple keyboard, so I just paired it to my iPad, and it was like perfectly fine. If I needed to get work done, I could have. I edited a bunch of videos using Final Cut for the iPad. Worked out great. Yeah, I will have a whole separate talk about, is this the future of editing for us casual photographers? But overall, I was really happy with the way that this trip panned out, and I didn't feel constrained by having one camera or the Ricoh GR IIIx or anything like that. Like everything was great, and it was really, really nice to have a simple setup. I say that because, as we all know, as us photographers, we can overpack and we can over estimate what we need. If I was to do it again, maybe I would bring like a little longer lens. I know I have like the 28 to 200 Tamron lens. I like that, but 28 is not wide enough sometimes. And I did find I was using the 17 focal length quite a bit. Like having that wide angle was really nice, and being able to go to 50 was great. Having an f4 lens was not limiting at all, because most of the time the pictures were outdoors in bright sunlight or even cloudy days. And the A7CR, I can raise the ISO as much as I need to, would have been great. I was thinking about this, and could I have brought like the Fuji camera for this trip? Absolutely. And it would have been just fine. Like it maybe would have been a little bit different, but I think it would have been just fine. And I have to say, like, having the 61 megapixels, I know it is not necessary. There are people, my A7 II and with this 24 megapixels is probably more than enough than I ever need. But having such large resolution files is actually nice, because I like seeing the details in my pictures. Like I love zooming in and seeing what I can get. I love cropping them and still having like plenty of resolution. Yes, I can use something like Topaz to upscale it 100%, but it was cool to have this camera and like really be able to use it in all its glory, being able to crop in a little bit to the APS-C mode and like still have all this resolution left over. Again, I'm very happy with this purchase, and this camera is not for everyone. I'm not here to say like this is why you need an A7CR. But for me and my purposes for using this camera, more than enough. Like again, really happy with this. And I know it's an expensive camera. I know it's a very high-end camera for an enthusiast. And I think this camera is for enthusiasts. I don't know if it's for like professional, but for an enthusiast who takes their photography work, somewhat seriously. And, it's okay to just say, I just want to use this camera. Like there's no right or wrong camera to have. And you also don't need to go on a very far away island to take really good pictures, right? Like my phones were perfectly fine. The Ricoh GR IIIx was great. And you can do this in your backyard. You can do this, exploring a neighborhood that you haven't explored before, to see what it's like. All that to say, I'm really happy with the way that this turned out. And it also shows me like I can make and get smaller with my, like, again, travel photography, family vacation photography gear. Again, if this was a photography trip where I'm purposely going out to take pictures, all the cameras would have been with me. The Fujifilm, both Sony cameras, multiple lenses, like maybe a tripod. Yes, I would have done all that, but because it's a family vacation, again, just keeping it simple, keeping it yeah, versatile, and using the tools that fit with where I was going. Right, this Osmo Pocket 3 would have been a disaster on this trip, because going to the beach with this, I would have been worried about sand getting on and all that kind of stuff. Can't take it in the water. Whereas the Osmo, Action 5, go in the water, can use it on zip lining, like all that kind of stuff, perfectly fine. Thank you as always for watching this video. If you want to see the pictures that I took, some of them, I'm not putting all 500 out there, but I will have a curated list of pictures down on Discord or over on Substack, and possibly my website. I'll probably have some picture sets from different parts of Kauai. But let me know down in the comments, like, what is your go-to family vacation travel setup? I would love to know, because I think this is, as photographers, it's really easy for us to overwhelm ourselves with like trying to make sure we capture all the images and make sure they're perfect. In reality, what we get is probably more than enough for the type of pictures we're taking. And again, we're just creating memories and hopefully passing this down to future generations. All right, thank you as always for watching this video. If you like listening to a middle-aged man ramble about his photography gear, photography tips, inspiration, and all that good stuff, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you want to read more of what I'm up to and my thoughts on photography, head on over to Substack and you can sign up for my newsletter there. And also, we have a wonderful community on Discord. I need to be better. I say this all the time. Maybe we'll talk about that in a future video about me and how I feel about social media and all this stuff. But please head on over to the Discord channel. I will be posting my pictures over there. Thank you as always for watching this, and I will see you next one. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.